It is the most famous house in America, a sanctuary, a palace, a tomb. For 47 years, we have been told a sanitized version of the truth. We were told the king of rock and roll died of a cardiac arrhythmia. We were told it was peaceful. We were told he was alone. But sources deep within the archives of the Shelby County Medical Examiner's Office and recently declassified FBI surveillance logs paint a much darker picture. There is a reason the upstairs of Graceland remains the most forbidden place on earth. There is a reason why, minutes after the ambulance screamed out of the gates on August 16, 1977, Elvis's father, Vernon Presley, ordered the bedroom to be locked, sealed, and guarded. He wasn't just grieving, he was hiding something. New leaks suggest that before the paramedics even touched the body, the room had been sanitized. A specific black bag was allegedly removed from the scene, containing evidence that could have cost the estate over $50 million in insurance payouts and destroyed the Presley image forever. What did the FBI really find sealed in that bathroom? What was written in the book found lying next to his cold body? And why are the details of the final 24 hours still terrifying the Presley family to this day? This isn't just a tragedy, it's a cold case, and the contents of that room change everything. To understand the horror of the end, we have to understand the beauty of the beginning. In 1957, a 22-year-old Elvis Presley bought Graceland for just over $100,000. It was supposed to be his fortress, a place where the screaming fans, the greedy managers, and the prying press couldn't touch him. He built a wall around his life. He installed the finest security money could buy in the 70s. He hired his friends, the Memphis Mafia, to stand guard. But the cruel irony of Graceland is that the walls Elvis built to keep the world out eventually kept him trapped in. By August 1977, the fortress had become a prison. The finances were bleeding. Elvis was allegedly cash poor, despite generating millions. He was preparing for a tour he didn't want to do, simply to pay off debts and keep the payroll of dozens of hangers-on flowing. He was isolated. The upstairs, his private sanctuary, had become a pharmacy. Sources claim that in the final 8 months of his life alone, over 10,000 doses of sedatives, amphetamines, and narcotics were prescribed to the king. And at the center of this web was the master suite, the place where no maid was allowed to enter without permission, the place where the windows were covered with tin foil to block out the sun. It was here, in this airtight environment, that the final, disturbingly quiet scene would play out. The stage was set for a tragedy that would spark a billion-dollar legal war 40 years later. Let's walk through the timeline that the estate tried to bury. It's early afternoon. Elvis's fiancée, Ginger Alden, wakes up. She notices the other side of the oversized bed is empty. This wasn't unusual. Elvis was a night owl, often prowling the grounds until dawn. But something felt wrong. The air in the suite was heavy. She walked toward the master bathroom. The door was cracked open. What she saw next is a haunting image that has been scrubbed from official biographies but detailed in the sealed witness transcripts. Elvis was on the floor, but it wasn't just that he had fallen, it was how he was found. The report details that he was in a position that looked like prayer, face down, knees tucked. He had literally frozen in time. Lying next to him was a book, The Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus. He had been reading it while sitting on the toilet. This detail is crucial. It suggests he wasn't in panicked agony. He didn't call out, it was instant. The king of rock and roll, the man who held the world in his hands, died reaching for the face of God on a cold bathroom floor. Ginger screamed. The maid Al Strada rushed in. Then the road manager, Joe Esposito. And this is where the story shifts from a medical tragedy to a potential cover-up. According to deep dive investigations and whispers from the Memphis Mafia, there was a window of time between the discovery of the body and the arrival of the police, where housekeeping took place. The FBI files on Elvis, which span thousands of pages regarding extortion attempts, also allude to the heavy drug traffic entering Graceland. On that day, the bathroom wasn't just a lavatory, it was an evidence locker. Witnesses allege that a specific black bag was brought into the room. Into this bag went pill bottles, syringes, and perhaps most disturbingly, several large envelopes containing what some believe were new, unfiled prescriptions for Dilaudid, a powerful synthetic opioid. Why hide the pills? Because Vernon Presley knew the truth. If Elvis died of a drug overdose, the life insurance policy might be voided. The accident narrative had to be established immediately. The scene was sanitized. By the time the authorities arrived, the room was merely a sad tableau of a natural death. But the toxicology report, which was sealed by the family for 50 years, tells a different story. 14 different drugs were found in his system. 14. It was a chemical cocktail capable of taking down a herd of elephants. And yet, the official line remained: cardiac arrhythmia. After the body was removed, Vernon Presley did something that fueled the mystery for decades. He didn't just close the door, he sealed it. Nothing was to be moved. The cups, the towels, the stop clock, everything was left exactly as it was at 2:30 p.m. on August 16th. Why? Was it a shrine? Or was it a crime scene that he couldn't bear to have examined again? Fast forward to today. The bathroom is still there, untouched, looming over the estate like a ghost. But the battle over what happened in that room has spilled into the courtroom. Following the tragic death of Lisa Marie Presley, a war erupted over the estate. And at the heart of it is the legacy of what happened in 1977. Riley Keough, Elvis's granddaughter, is now the sole trustee. She is the protector of the hero legacy, but she has faced opposition from all sides, allegedly even from her own grandmother, Phesily, for a time, and from companies trying to auction off Graceland based on fraudulent loans. The financial voyeurism here is staggering. We are talking about an estate worth upwards of $500 million. But the cracks in the foundation started with that sealed bathroom. Critics and conspiracy theorists argue that the villains, the doctors, the enablers, and perhaps the family members who looked the other way, profited from Elvis's slow decline. Dr. Nick was eventually charged. He was the fall guy. But was he the only one? Or was the entire machinery of Graceland greased by the very substances that killed the king? The leak of the sealed autopsy details reveals that Elvis's heart was double the normal size. His body was ravaged. The black bag may have hidden the immediate cause, but it couldn't hide the decades of abuse. The conflict today isn't just about money. It's about the narrative. Riley wants to preserve the grandfather she never knew as a human being. The media wants the fat Elvis caricature. And the files just want to tell the cold, hard truth. We must return to the room one last time, because the FBI files and the leaked notes from the paramedics mention details that are truly harrowing. It wasn't just the drugs, it was the physical state of the room. Witnesses described the air as stagnant, filled with the smell of stale food and sickness. Elvis had been living in this room almost exclusively for weeks. The king was living in squalor amidst luxury. The gold-plated fixtures were tarnished. The trusted witnesses, the maids, later confessed that they found pill packets hidden in the strangest places. Sewn into curtains, buried in flower pots. The disturbing leak refers to the condition of his lungs. They were filled with fluid. He was drowning on dry land. And yet the people around him, the Memphis Mafia, kept the show going. They kept the tour dates booked. They kept the cash churning. This is the true horror, not a ghost story, but a story of a man who was a commodity first and a human second. The bathroom wasn't a death chamber by accident. It was the inevitable conclusion of a life controlled by others. The door to the upstairs of Graceland remains locked to the public. Riley Keough now holds the key. She walks those halls past the sealed room, carrying the weight of the crown. The black bag is gone. The evidence it contained has likely been destroyed or is rotting in a landfill in Memphis. But the truth has a way of leaking out. We now know about the pills. We know about the book. We know about the prayer. And we know that the FBI watched it all unfold from the shadows. But here's the question that haunts the estate. If that room was open today and modern forensics swept every inch of that shag carpet, would we find traces of a crime or just the tragic residue of a broken heart? I want to hear from you. Do you think Vernon Presley was right to sanitize the scene to protect Elvis's legacy? Or was it a crime scene tampering that denied Elvis justice? Are you Team Riley, fighting to keep the history pure? Or do you believe the villains got away with it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to know the real reason Lisa Marie was terrified of the medication garden, click this video right here. You won't believe what they found buried there.